What's up, YouTube? We're back for part 2 of the Firebird series, and step 1 on today's schedule is going to be taking out the spark plug so we can run a compression test. Let's get to it. Well, guys, I might have found part of our issue here. I know you can't see down there at all, but the spark plug in the back passenger side here is actually loose or finger tight in there. So let me set the phone down here and get this spark plug out, and we'll take a look at it. All right, so I just wrote passenger or PR on the front of this, that way I can see the passenger rear, but this is what that plug actually looked like. And I will show you this one and then compare it to the other ones. As you can see, you can tell it's kind of burnt there on the end. This might be part of our overheating issue as well, especially if it's causing pre-ignition or anything like that, where that cylinder is just filling up with fuel and not actually igniting. That could cause it to heat up from the back and then slowly heat in the front. That way we have lower temps from the previous video on the front there. This could be what is manipulating it and heating the engine from the back to the front slowly. So here is a look at the other spark plugs compared to the one that I just showed you. As you can see, they are not as burnt as the other ones. They don't look great. You can tell that this one looks pretty rough right here. Okay, guys, so this is the numbers that we got for the compression test. As you can see, I mean, we landed in between 155 and 180 on all of them. So honestly, that just kind of confuses me more, given that the compression ratios came back so good. Still going to dig in a little bit deeper, see if I can find out some stuff, but let's keep rolling with this video. All right, guys, so I'm still waiting on some parts to come in for the car, but I did get one thing from the guy that sold it to me. He had brand new, had never put on the car. So this is what we're about to do right now. I've got a brand new set of brake pads for the front and rear, or well, I say the front and rears. All I see is 4 brake pads right here now that I open up this box. Damn, this dude even lied about that. Come on now, brother. We only got brake pads for either the front or the rear. I got to figure out which ones these go on. All right, so I'll take that back. I do not have a full set of brake pads. All I have is rear brake pads. But as you can see right here, let me grab the light actually. These brake pads look to probably be close to original. They definitely have got some years on them. What I'm gonna do is just pop these fronts off and then also pop the rears off and go and get these rotors resurfaced because they do look a little rough. They look like they have enough thickness there that they can be resurfaced and be all right. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Go ahead, pop off fronts, rears, and put this thing on jack stands and go and get front brake pads now. So that way we can have new front pads in the front and rear and some resurfaced rotors. So that way it's just smooth going down the road. All right, so the brake pad came off pretty good. Now, the real question is how easy, or not the brake pad, I meant the brake caliper came off really good. Now we're going to see about this brake rotor here, because there is a good bit of rust around that hub there, and I don't even know. Are you fucking serious? That's crazy that this thing just came off like that. That was a rubber mallet too. That wasn't even like I didn't even have to bring out the sledge. Sweet. I thought this was going to take forever. All right, we got lucky on one at least. Well, what I noticed right after taking off that brake caliper is our tie rod ends are absolutely shot. That rubber has just disintegrated there in the middle. So I will go ahead and replace these too. I mean, tie rod ends are super cheap, so, and I planned on getting an alignment on it anyway. So I'll get these while I'm at the store as well. Well, I finally got the cotter pin out of the tie rod end. Let me tell you, that thing probably hasn't been off since 1993. I had to cut this thing and all that. You can see we busted out the Sawzall to cut the tips off this thing because I could not get this thing to come out to save my life. So we're out now though. Let's pop this bolt off and hopefully no threads are messed up or anything like that. I oiled everything down, so hopefully it comes off easy and then goes back on just fine. We'll see. Well, just a couple whacks with the sledge here, and this tie rod came right out. Let me just go ahead and give you guys a tip if you're ever working on tie rods. Don't hit the actual tie rod itself. Take your hammer, hit right here on the actual corner that the tie rod sits in, because this sits in right there. Yeah, just hit right here on this corner and it should pop that arm down, and that way you don't risk messing up any threads or anything like that. So there's one that's well, I gotta still take it off, but it's out. So The old tie rod is off. I'm really glad that I caught this before going on that long trip, because I don't think this thing would have made it, and I really did not want to ka-chow Lightning McQueen on the way to wherever I'm going. Yep, the passenger side tie rod is off, and honestly it looks just as bad, so we're going to replace this one as well. Also, taking a closer look here at these brake pads, these things actually don't look bad. They've still got a good bit of brake pad left, so what I might do is just resurface the brake rotors themselves. Let me come over here and look at this driver side. Yeah, honestly, the driver side over here looks good too. I think what I'm gonna do is just end up resurfacing these the rotors themselves, and just letting these old brake pads ride, because they still got a lot of life left in them, and I'd hate just, you know, throw away a good set of brake pads. So they still work and they still do their job. So I'm going to slap a new set of plugs in here, and I just had a guy comment on the previous video saying to actually kind of block off the heater core and to jack the car up in the air, make sure that the radiator is at the highest point, or the radiator cap is the highest point on the cooling system, and then kind of bleeds or burp the system, because to him it sounds like a air bubble, and also combine that with the cylinder misfire. There could be a possibility that it isn't a blown head gasket, and given that the compression test came back so strong, I'm so confused at this point. I'm going to try this as like a last ditch effort before I pull the heads off. I know I'm dragging this out, but I just want to make sure that I want to make sure that I'm trying to make sure that I find the problem, the true problem. So let's give this a shot and see what happens. Well, I just finished up with the passenger, or the driver side I meant. Honestly, putting the plugs in weren't nearly as bad as taking them out, but still those back ones are a pain in the ass. So I'm going to get started on this passenger side and hopefully have the plugs knocked out tonight before it gets too late. And I will update you guys whenever we get it done. Alright guys, I just got the number 8 spark plug there on the back passenger side. And I understand 100% why he just finger tightened that thing. I just spent about 45 minutes trying to get the thing actually in the hole, and then spent another about 15 tightening it. So hour in total for one spark plug. I gotta say, the GM engineers in the 90s, they were doing something. So these other 3 should be, I'm not even gonna say it. Alright guys, I finally just finished up all the spark plugs, and I pray that it was a false alarm on the head gasket, because God, that was terrible getting all those things in there. Driver's side wasn't nearly as bad as the passenger side, but that passenger side, man, it's tight. But yeah, I'm gonna come back tomorrow, pop that heater core hose off, or heater core hoses off, and pretty much just bypass that and get one of those little things that you can hook up to the radiator to burp the system. Jack this up a little bit more so that way the cap's at the highest point. And yeah, we'll see if the guy that commented on the last video was right. I'm praying he is. Well, I've got one off here. I still got the one there in the very back. I had to cut the top side of this hose. I don't know, you can barely see it, probably that light is kind of, yeah, right there. You can see where I had to cut the top of that one to get it off. I mean, the inside of that thing looks disgusting, so the heater core might have been blocked. So they commented that, even if that isn't the problem right this second, it would have been a problem. So I'm gonna go ahead, probably gonna have to cut this one too. I'm trying not to, but probably gonna have to cut the top of it, and then I'll just kind of cut the hoses so that way I can fit the new bypass in there. Well, I finally got this back hose off here. All I'm gonna say is I had to use the Sawzall because the razor blade I had was not sharp enough, and I had to kind of just like angle it in there and cut into the side of it a little bit. But let me show you what we got in the inside here on this thing. So yeah, that's what the inside of this line looks like. I mean, that looks disgusting in there. I've got to figure out a way if I can flush this line itself out. But if that's what the line looks like, there's no telling what the inside of that heater core in there looks like, because the line looks like it's just about stopped up. So might have found our problem. Let's see. I'm going to look up a way how to do this. Probably come back out here tomorrow and get this done. All right, we have got the heater core bypass installed. Everything looks good there. All the hoses and all that are hooked up. All right, so we are back now with the, I'm going to be going on with the tie rods, just because I've already got everything taken apart right here. Go ahead and do that. Also, I got the rotors resurfaced. They came out pretty good. The guy at O'Reilly said he only had to take about 20 thousandths off, so he said they should be all right. I got to still clean them off with soapy warm water, but look a whole lot better than they did. Also, I bought some brake fluid. Going to go through and just pump all this old stuff out because I don't know. It might be the original brake fluid from 1993, so I'm just going to go ahead and replace that. Also, I've got some coolant here, a bottle of distilled water. So I've had a couple people commenting saying to go through and burp the system. Very good. I guess, I bought a 2-liter bottle as well, so that way I can put that inside the radiator, so that way I can raise the coolant level, so that way the air will escape at the highest point. I was going to buy one of those actual kit things, but like the cheapest one around here is from AutoZone for like $40, and I'm like, dude, it's literally just like 2 or 3 pieces of plastic, and they want that much for it. I'll just use a bottle. And it'll accomplish the same thing. It just might spill a little bit more, but it's okay. All right, let's get these tie rods on. Well, I just opened up these tie rods and take a look at the inside of this one. I've never seen threads that messed up, and honestly, it looks like it's cracked down there at the bottom of it. And the crazy thing is, both of these are like this. The actual seal, the rubber seal right here, it just doesn't even sit inside there. It like goes around the top of the outside. So I think I'm going to take these tie rods back, definitely this one, because I can't even thread that onto anything. That's absolutely shot. So yeah, I'm going to take a pause on the tie rods. I'll probably just go ahead and start working on the rear brakes back there. So, well, we got some new tie rods. At least the threads aren't stripped out on these, but they're still built this same way, where the actual cup comes off. How the auto parts guy explained it to me was when you tighten down the top bolt and it pulls it up towards it, it actually squishes this rubber down flat, so that way it holds the grease in there, which makes sense, but I've just still never seen any like that. But let's go ahead and get these things installed. I got the tie rods on. Sadly, when I went to go grease them, the insert on my grease gun completely split in half, like the little plastic that's inside the actual tip here. So it doesn't actually hold it onto the grease fitting anymore. So gotta go get a new grease gun. It didn't even make it through 1 can of grease. Come on, Harbor Freight, you're usually better than this. Brakes are back on. All right, guys, so I've got a mechanical gauge hooked up here. I'm about to go ahead and top off the coolant here, get it to where it's about right here, just high enough that it is above the water heater bypass back there, so that way I can finally do a full burp on this and hit each one of these bleeder screws here. All right, so we had to switch to this funnel right here because the old one, wherever it went now, that was ribbed and it wouldn't exactly hold it suction completely. So this actually holds it. I'm gonna pour some coolant in here. And start it up here and start circulating this air out. Go ahead and hit it, Tommy. So as you can see here, we got this bleeder open. I'm gonna go ahead and pour some more coolant in this. Our new gauge over here. I'm gonna just kind of keep an eye on this and make sure nothing goes to overheat and see how accurate everything is now. All right, she's definitely getting a tad bit overheating. I mean, not to a terrible degree here, but we got air coming out right here. We got some air bubbles coming out of the top up here, so just trying to keep it running long enough to bleed everything. A lot of bubbles coming out of the top right here. Got a lot going on right now. Kind of coming out the bottom too. It's not a perfect seal, but on a temp gauge is still sitting right at 230. Just praying that this thing starts to come down in temp. All right, so we let it sit there and idle, and as you can see, it sat there at about 230. I'm gonna try and just like roll it down the road real easy here and see if it's just not getting air into the radiators, because I was looking at the owner's manual for this car, and it says that it will start to overheat a tad bit if it just sits there and idles. And we were just letting it sit there and idle in the sun. So I'm just gonna watch my trusty dusty gauge here that we got mounted up very professionally and see if I can't just roll around the neighborhood. If it goes to get up above 250, I'm just gonna let it cool down and pull it back in the driveway. Jesus Christ. The tires are flat.
Just add it to the list.
I hope the lug nuts are tight.
We'll find out when one passes us.
Poor civilian right down there. We're literally just gonna baby this thing. You can take a left right here so that way we don't get next to any civilians.
Well, this is a dead end.
Oh, this is a dead end. Jesus. And the temps are rising. We're probably at like 232, something like that. Don't think the commenters fix is gonna work. I think we're gonna be taking some heads off of this thing. Yeah, because we're at 240 now. Park it right here for now, let it cool down, and maybe try it again. I don't know, we'll figure out something with this thing.
GM radiator fluid. That might be what's wrong with it.
Yeah, I think
you're using cheap radiator fluid.
Well, guys, I think I'm gonna be tearing the heads off this one, because honestly, I don't know what else it is. I might cut the cat out of it actually, just to see if it's the catalytic converter clogged, just so that way I can say it's a straight pipe too. I don't know, guys. I'm so lost. I have no idea. I mean, actually, I do have an idea. I still thought it was the head gasket from the beginning. Him and my commenters are the only people that are just saying that it's not a blown head gasket, but it's not looking that way. Oh yeah, and everybody that's saying it's not a real 50,000 mile car, I mean, dude, I don't know. Going off of the VIN reports that I've got, it's saying that the mileage is correct. And I'm only the third owner of it. I still got the owner's manual, or not the owner's manual, but the window sticker and all that for that car. Let me go grab it real fast so I can show you guys that at least. Here's a look at that window sticker, and it's also got the option list here. Honestly, the window sticker is a pretty accurate representation of what the car looks like now. So, all right, guys, so I don't even really know exactly what clip we're on again. I don't know what I ended off with last. But I'm gonna go ahead, try one more thing, and take out the thermostat, and see if that kind of helps it run. Cause, man, I'm listening to these comments, and I'm getting advice from other people, and a lot of people are telling me they don't think it's a blown head gasket either. It's just, I'm still in my head, I still kind of think it is, because there's nothing else really to explain why it's overheating. So I'm just gonna try that, see if that helps anything. I know you're not supposed to run it without a thermostat, but that's the only other option I can think of right now that could kind of quick fix it. And just see. I know that the coolant level has gone down a little bit from being full. But I don't see any coolant leaking out on the ground or anything like that. So I'm guessing it was just slowly drinking it out of the system. Not sure exactly, but I'm gonna try and figure out something. All right, guys, I know the lighting's not the best here, but we got the thermostat out, got everything cleaned off, at least for the most part. I'm about to throw some more RTV on there, and then throw it back together without the thermostat in there and see how good it goes. So fingers crossed. We'll see if this one, this fixes it. All right, guys, so we've got the thermostat housing bolted back down there with no thermostat in it. I should probably wait longer than this to let the RTV dry, but honestly, if it works, I'll pull it back off, redo it, let it dry properly, and actually do that the right way. But I want to go ahead and see if this works. I don't have my buddy here, so I'm gonna have to handle the camera and all that myself. I'll go ahead, fill this back up with coolant. It looks like it drank some of it, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill this back up. Let's fire this thing up and see how she does. Well, let me get the key on there the right way. All right, I'm just gonna watch that temp gauge. I've got everything put back together, so we're just gonna be simply watching the temp gauge. There we go. That. Just pray that that doesn't go over 190 to 210, somewhere in there. So even running it with the thermostat out here and opening up the bleeder screw again, just to make sure, double check, make sure I got all the air out, which I did. I mean, it was shooting a stream out. So right here, as you can see on the temp gauge, we still got a tap it above 230, and I just went ahead and shut it down. I don't want to cause any more damage than what's already done. I'm gonna go ahead, probably post this video, just so that way I can get another one out to kind of give you guys an update. I know in the previous video I said I was gonna be tearing down the heads, but when I saw the influx of people telling me, hey, do this, do that, when it comes to bleeding, burping, flushing, all of that stuff, I was like, you know what, let me give it another shot to see if doing all this stuff would actually fix it instead of having to tear down the head, so that way I could do this trip that I'm talking about a little bit earlier But that does not look like the case. I'm still asking around to some buddies, see if they've got any other advice, but I think at this point, just got to kind of accept defeat and start tearing the motor down, because I really don't know what else there is. Other than maybe a blockage in the head as well, that could be something. So it's either that or a blown head gasket at this point, in my opinion. And that's kind of what I'm going to go with. I've done every step that I know to when it comes to burping, bleeding, and flushing the system. I don't see any more air bubbles in there, so I think the system is flushed as it's going to be. I mean, I did the heater core bypass and everything, so there's nothing blocking it up here on the top side. Brand new radiator, brand new water pump. I took the thermostat out, so I mean, if anything, it should be running way cooler. It should be running in the 160s at most with the thermostat taken out. So, I mean, and we're not even close to that number there. So, we will see. I will update you guys. I don't know if there's going to be another part to this or not. If there isn't, I'll talk to you guys later. If there is, then I'll also talk to you guys here in just a second. Not sure yet, but see you for now. So I am going to call this the end of part 2, but I will say the next part, I will have this car running. I'm not going to post another video until the car is running right. So that way, the next video will be prepping it or showing me fixing it, and then prepping it to go on the trip, and then the trip itself. So leaving it off on that note, guys, thank you so much for almost 400 subs at this point. Honestly, I can't believe the amount of support that I've gotten and the amount of views that I got on the first long form video. So again, thank you guys so much for watching and commenting and everything. To everybody that added suggestions on what to do to fix it. I mean, it didn't work, but thank you. And I'm still, I mean, no matter what, throughout this whole channel's, the beginning of it right now all the way to the end, I would like to just hear from you guys kind of on the same basis that we got going now. Is there anything that you see that I could be doing better? Comment it down below. If I mess up on explaining something, let me know in the comments. But for now, guys, I will see you next time. And next time the car will be running. So have a good one, everybody.